I was like, I don't know what my next book haul will be because I can't get any books. There are ways, friends. There are ways. So today I have a haul. I have 46 physical books here to show you. And I didn't spend a penny on any of them. Actually, that might be semi-false, but I may have somehow paid for 2. The rest of them were either gifted to me or were free. The majority of this haul is adult thrillers. They're a little more popular, more well-known titles, and they are more mystery thriller, domestic mystery thriller type thing. Let's go ahead and let's get into this because we know that I like to ramble. Anyway, let's go ahead. First, I am going to talk about my Book of the Month picks. So I actually got 2 books from Book of the Month this month. I am an affiliate. I'll leave it linked down below. But honestly, I just really enjoy the service. There weren't any books that I really liked last month, so I just skipped last month. But I did get 2 this month. I saw this, and first I was drawn to the cover, the Book of Longings, and I was like, this is a really intriguing cover. It kind of reminds me of, it's like Book of Rust and Starlight, or Rust and Blood, or anyway. So then I read the synopsis of it, and it is a feminist retelling of the Bible. Normally, I don't do religious things, but this just sounded too intriguing to pass up. That's all I'm going to say on that. Then I picked up one that I have already read, and that is The Last Time I Lied. This is my favorite Riley Sager book, and I just want it for my collection. Things happened at the camp. I think there was a murder that happened at the camp, or someone went missing, and basically the camp was shut down, but it's like years later, and she has been asked to come back to the camp and kind of be an advisor. So she goes back to the camp, and then, you know, this camp has a sinister side, and there's this mystery going on and other things, and it's just so good. This is just the best Riley Sager to me, and I love these covers. I want to own all of Riley Sager's books, but these covers are just some of my favorites. I just love like the monotone of them. So I do own a paperback of Final Girls, but I would like, you know, hardcovers because out of hardback order. Then we have the beautiful Fairy Loot book that I got, and it was Bone Crier's Moon with these beautiful pastel green sparkly pages. Oh, just gorgeous. So in order to become a Bone Crier kind of ferries the dead onto the next life, but in order to become like an official Bone Crier, you have to go through a trial where you kill your true love. So we follow one girl who is prepping for these trials. We follow a boy, I believe, whose father was killed by a Bone Crier, so he wants to get revenge on the Bone Criers. And then we also follow another person who I believe really wants to stop these trials from happening, discontinue this, and so they're going to infiltrate, I'm assuming, the Bone Criers, but somehow they all come together. I don't know. We'll find out. But then I kept calling this Elysium Girls in my unboxing, and even watching it back, I was like, why was I? That is very obviously not the word asylum, but for some reason in my brain that was how it read. There are several pronunciations listed online, so I don't know. Elysium seems to be one that I found more. This sounded so good. I was so happy Unplugged had this because it sounds so stinking good. These people are told that they're being ruled by 2 women, life and death, and life and death like to gamble, so they're like, 10 years time, you guys are going to compete in the games, and if you're unworthy, we're killing y'all. So we follow a girl, it's 10 years later, and she is prepping to kind of be like the person that competes in the games, and then this new guy shows up and he's got like magic tricks, so then the people are like, well, we want him to do the like, not you. So they end up getting exiled together, and they come across this group of girls who have also been exiled, and they end up creating these steampunk horse things. So, and they realize that they have to change the rules of the game if they gonna win. This sounds like a pretty good way to segue into the gifts that I got, because Desiree actually, we play Animal Crossing together. I'll leave her channel link down below, but her island is actually called Elysium. I didn't even, like, I saw that word and I recognized it and didn't even put 2 and 2 together. But she is so very kind. I love her so much. We've been playing Animal Crossing, having a good time, but she sent me the Unhoneymooners in this time of crisis in order to brighten my days. Brighten my days indeed. This is on my wish list, and I just am so thankful. You guys are probably like, why? Allie, didn't you read that? Yes, yes I have. I put things on my wish list that I really enjoy and know that I'm going to reread, and while I didn't love the ending of this book, up until this point, great, fantastic, loved it. So I'll definitely be giving this a reread. Plus I love this cover, and I keep finding that I'm recommending this to a lot of people recently, and I love this. I love this so much. So Des, you have to read it now. I know you said you were going to read it, so you need to read it now. So good. If you guys don't know, this is about a girl whose sister is getting married, and she has won like this full paid for honeymoon kind of deal, and the whole wedding party gets food poisoning the night before, so she has to go in her sister's place to the honeymoon, and then the groom's brother, who is her arch nemesis, has to go as well, and of course they have to pretend that they are newlyweds, and they find out that maybe they don't mind pretending so much. But I love the banter in this. I love how goofy it is at times. It just felt so realistic. Such an addicting type of story. Chris, wonderful Chris, my #1 fan here, also sent me some things. Sent me the mystery suspicious box, which was just a really nice Chinese money plant. I was like, where is this box from? What happened? Like, it's in such a suspicious box, and all of Twitter was like, open up the box, what's in the box? And it was a plant, the best surprise mail ever. So thank you, Chris, for the best surprise mail ever. And then also for sending me 2 books. So one of my all-time favorites, Invisible Monsters. Absolutely love this book. My copy is not in good shape. Okay, and this copy is gorgeous, and I really want to do a reread of this very soon, so I'm very happy to have this, because now I can just destroy the hell out of my other copy, and this is just absolutely stunning. I have already got dirt on this because I am a disgusting human being. Oh, if you guys don't know what this is about, it is about a model. I believe she's a model, and she has had her face shot off. And we are on like a weird type of adventures. It's told kind of all over the place, and you're figuring out who these people are around her, what has happened to her. There's just, I don't even know how to explain this book. You can't explain any Chuck Palahniuk book well ever, because they're just so fucking weird. Then we have Kings of the Wyld. I believe that's how you say that. I have heard such good things about this, and I think Maddie, the book pusher, is currently reading this and has been raving about it on social media. I am so excited that so many people are talking about this and how good it is, and I've been in a fantasy kick lately, and I really want to get into some more adult fantasy. YA fantasy has just been kind of stagnant for me for the most part recently, so I would like to kind of branch out more. I think the problem with adult fantasy is I just don't know where to start, and there's so much of it that I'm not interested in. Boys are back in town. Okay, I don't know what this is about though. So I believe this follows Clay, and he is a mercenary, and him and his band of mercenaries have basically retired. Find out that an army is marching towards one of the band members' family members, I believe maybe his daughter, and he's basically like, I'm gonna go save my daughter, and they're like, okay, time to, you know, the boys are back in town. So I think that's what that's about. I honestly don't know. It's a little humid in here. My paperbacks are looking a little wavis. And then one more book I actually received in a PR package. It was like the cutest thing of all time. There was these shortbread cookies inside. There was tea. There was these butterscotch flavor drops. And the cutest thing of all was this cute picnic basket. Look how cute this is. I love it. It feels really nice, and it's just so cute. I can't wait. I might stain it just because I don't love yellow wood, but we'll see. And it came with the Jane Austen Society in it. I'll be honest, I don't have much interest in reading this. I have never read any Jane Austen. I do believe that this takes place after World War II, and it might be about a group of women who I think are just kind of losing faith and hope, and so they start a Jane Austen Society. So I feel like it's going to have a lot of Jane Austen references in it that I'm not going to get. So maybe it will be a thing that I would like read a bunch of Jane Austen and then read this, but honestly not that interested at this point in time. It is really beautiful, very historical fiction-esque cover. Yeah, anyway, let's get into the other 87 mystery thrillers here then. My feet are going to sleep. Not all of these are technically mystery thrillers, but the majority of them are, so there might be a few here and there that are a little something else. So, you're probably wondering how I got all of these free. Basically, my mom has a friend who is moving, and they were getting rid of all of their books, and I snatched up what I could. There was a lot that I ended up leaving behind just because space, but I was trying to pick up ones that I had liked and wanted, or that I would like to give a try. I've seen good things about. So I don't know what a lot of these are about. I just kind of picked them up on a whim, just based off of recognizing the titles. So let's blunder through this together. Okay, so first we have White Bodies. This is about a seemingly perfect couple, and the woman's sister is very concerned for her sister. Basically, she thinks that Felix has some sort of rage. She's seen the bruises on her sister. Her sister starts acting really strange. She stops eating. She starts having weird behaviors. And so she becomes a little concerned and she goes to the internet for help. I don't know. And then whoever is helping her on the internet dies. And then he dies. And she's like, what is going on? So I don't know. Sounds crazy weird. Then we have Barbara the Slut. And I'll be honest, I wanted this just because of the title. I don't know nothing else about it except for Barbara is probably a slut. She's probably not really a slut though, because, you know, that's a term that men use to sexualize women and their experiences. But a law school grad takes a job selling sex toys in San Francisco. I'm already sold. This has 10 different stories and they're all about sex, family, and relationships. A short story collection? What a find. What a find. I didn't even realize that because most of the time they say stories on here and it just says in other people. So I didn't even think that. Oh, that's lovely. I love it. Love it already. Great. Fantastic. Okay, moving on. Next we have Big Little Lies. I don't think I have to tell you guys really what this is about because it's been a sensation for years. I really enjoyed this when I read it. Basically, a PTA group, you find out one of the parents has been murdered at the PTA party. It's a newcomer and there's these I didn't think I would enjoy it, but it's good, and I really like the show. I have to watch the second season still, but I really enjoyed it. I really wanted to copy just because it was like one of my favorite books that I've read. So then we have Watch Me Disappear, and honestly this is a book that has interested me for quite some time. I love this cover. I love these colors in this cover. But this is about a woman who goes hiking one day and then just disappears. Her body was never found, and her family, you know, her husband and her daughter they're concerned and they're grieving for her. And then her daughter starts having dreams that she's still alive somewhere and having like these flashbacks to moments that like don't make sense to her. So her and her father embark on a journey to find out the truth and figure out who her mom really was. So I don't know, sounds good. Sarah's Key. Now this is one that I recognize as a title that I've seen people recommend. I think it is an older title. Older as in I don't think it was published within like the past 5 years. I do believe this is a World War II kind of historical fiction, but it does take place also kind of in the present. This follows Sarah, a 10-year-old girl who's taken with her parents by the French police as they're arresting Jewish families. She locks her younger brother in a bedroom cupboard. And then it's 60 years later, and Sarah comes across Julia, who is kind of researching and investigating about the roundup. And they've come across the secrets that link them together somehow. I'm sure I can guess at those already, but I don't know. People have said really good things about that. I love a really good World War II historical fiction, so Painted Black. This just sounds really fucking weird. About Josie, who's falling in love with Michael, and she thinks, you know, this is gonna be great, it's gonna be perfect, and then the coroner calls and he's like, hey, I need you to identify Michael's body, and she's like, what? So then she goes to his mother to, I don't know, comfort her, and I think she is attracted to his mother. They're drawn into a twisted relationship that reflects equal parts of distrust and blind need. I'm intrigued. Okay, then we have, I'm gonna tilt you down because, whew. Then we have The Perfect Nanny, and I've just seen good things about this. This is about a family who is looking for the perfect nanny, and they find her, but then things become weird, and I think there's some suspicion and jealousy and stuff going on. I don't really understand. It's relatively short. I think what is most intriguing about this book here is that it seems to revolve around modern communication and modern kind of rivalries, in that this is about a woman who she feels as if she has been deceived in some way, and in order to vent, she creates a Facebook group, like a private Facebook group, and I'm assuming that they like talk shit in this Facebook group. Modern day rivalries. And she ends up finding out that some of the conversations from her private group are being leaked. That's all I really understand. I don't know, it sounds like a really interesting take on kind of like the small town drama. So that is very much something that would happen in my town. I know people hate the deviled edges. The deckled edges. I love them. I think they just add so much like character to the books. I know people say they have a hard time, but I don't know, maybe because I always just turn from the bottom that I've never noticed that. So this is about a woman who receives a call at 2 o'clock in the morning from her drug addicted sister, and she's always bailing out her sister out of situations, but she finds out that not only is her sister addicted to drugs again, but she is pregnant and she is in labor, and she can't go to the hospital because they will take the baby away. So she takes in her sister and this newborn, and she begins caring for them. But she ends up bonding a lot with the newborn, and when her sister goes to rehab, she has to kind of face some things that bring out the dark secrets of their past that the other one is not willing to acknowledge. Last Mrs. Parrish, I have seen a ton of people rave about this. Everyone that I work with, all my coworkers have raved about this. So at this point, I just need to read it. I do like the other cover better. This one just seems very meh to me. I also have been considering doing a video where I read all of Reese Witherspoon's kind of book picks, like a year's worth, not all of them, because I think she's been doing it for like 3 years now. This is about Amber, who is just fed up with her life, and she really wants Daphne's life. Daphne seems to live this perfect life. She has a beautiful marriage, 2 beautiful kids. She's perfect. Her life is perfect. And Amber wants that, so she concocts a plan to get closer and ends up becoming Daphne's closest friend. And she is becoming really close to Daphne's husband as well. But there's some secrets that Amber has, and if they come out, it will ruin everything. I hope it does, you little homewrecker. Why did I say that like that? I'm so sorry. Then we have Something in the Water, again another Reese Witherspoon pick, and this was one that also intrigued me when it first came out. Just didn't get around to it then. This is about a couple who goes on a honeymoon. I think it's on a honeymoon, maybe it's just vacation. I don't know, they're in Bora Bora. And they go scuba diving and they find something in the water. It's dark and sinister and oh so gross. So they have to decide whether or not they are going to keep the secret or tell the secret, and apparently their choice changes everything. This follows Louise and Lavina, and apparently they're close and they're talking about all these places they're gonna go, and then you find out I think it's Lavina is going to die, and the two end up into a spiral into an intimate, intense, and possibly toxic friendship. New take on a talented Mr. Ripley, so I've never read that. Okay, these next two are massive. I only picked them up because I've heard good things about this author. I don't even know what parts of series these are in. We'll look into it later, not right now. Just don't have the time right now. But that is Ken Follett's. So we have World Without End. And then we also have Fall of Giants. These are freaking doorstops. These are massive. They are heavy. Oh my gosh. So I am interested enough. I do believe that he does more historical type things. I'm not going to go into what these are about. I don't plan on reading them anytime soon, but I do plan on reading them in my lifetime just because I've heard such good things about him as an author. Okay, then we have The Woman in Cabin 10, a Ruth Ware book. I want to read more Ruth Ware. I loved, what was it last year? Oh my god, why can't I think of what that was called? Oh my god. Turn of the key. Oh my god. Absolutely love that. I would love to try out more Ruth Ware. So The Woman in Cabin 10, I've heard good things about this. I do think that this was kind of the one that really got her popular. This was all the rave like 2 years ago. I believe who is going, she's a journalist, I believe, or a writer of some sort, and she a week on a luxury cruise with only a handful of cabins. It's the first week and she swears that she hears a woman being thrown overboard, but everyone is like, we don't know what you're talking about. And she's like, something has gone terribly, terribly wrong for this stay. A couple who get the chance to house swap, and they've been having issues with their marriage. Their son is just driving them nuts. And so they're like, this is the chance. They're going to get out of their little city apartment. They're going to go to a house and like, they're going to fix things. Well, of course, they find out their marriage is just shit all around. Yeah, their neighbor, I don't know, I'm assuming it's their new neighbor, is very interested in everything that they are doing. Weird. Mine too. So then you also find out that she is realizing that there are clues hidden all over the house. The person that they have swapped houses with might actually know them. And it's spooky. I don't know. And we have A Piece of Cake. Now, I actually used to own this and I lent it out and it was never returned to me. This is a memoir by Cupcake Brown. And it is her life, and I believe that she had to go through drugs, prostitution, homelessness. So it really intrigued me years ago. It still intrigues me now. I was very upset. I've looked into buying this book multiple times, but I held off because apparently I knew I was going to get it free at some point. So it just, I don't know, like, I'm just so intrigued by this. She's a lawyer now, I believe, so. Okay. So I had read The Host, didn't really care for it. So then we came across this. This is an adult mystery thriller, I believe. So I'm more inclined to read this than the other ones, possibly. It's about a woman who used to work for the government, and apparently some information that she knows puts a target on her back, and they begin killing the people around her, and of course they want her dead as well. So then when one of her, I guess, ex-coworkers gives her a way out, she's like, okay, we're gonna do this, but the way out ends up being making her more of a threat than before, and so she's in this complicated thing where she's trying to get away, I'm assuming from the government, but keep the secrets or expose it. I don't know. It sounds like a wild ride. It's on a true story, and this is about, I believe it's a writer. Delphine meets Elle. Elle is everything that Delphine has always secretly admired. So their unexpected friendship intensifies in an increasingly sinister way, and their lives become more and more intertwined. Elle threatens to expose Delphine's identity as a writer and as an individual, and it is a psychological thriller. We still have so many more to go, and I'm just done talking about books. So then we have Life After Life. I've seen really good things. My coworker loves Kate Atkinson. This is just one that I've heard nothing but great things about. Get these damn stickers off. Who does this? Who puts these stickers on? At least these come off easy. Some of them are just, oh, so terrible. This is interesting. So I think this follows different timelines. So Ursula Todd is born, and she's dead before she can take her first breath. But on the same night, Ursula Todd is born, and she embarks upon a new life. She dies repeatedly in a variety of ways. What did I think this book was about? Because it wasn't that. That isn't what I was expecting at all. Oh, then we have Right Behind You. This was the first audiobook that I read and enjoyed. I loved it. This is one that I recommend all the time, so I wanted a copy. It was kind of crazy. It was kind of all over the place. I loved it. The boy that they believe has murdered these people, and they're on the hunt for him. It follows a police family as they are trying to hunt down this boy, and they're looking back at the evidence and all the people that he has killed and trying to figure out what happened, and it takes over the span of a day kind of deal, and it's just crazy from what I remember. And I just really enjoyed it. Would like to have a copy. Come across a free copy, you keep the free copy. And this one I mostly picked up because this cover is so good. The Physick Book of Deliverance, Dane. Look at this. A supernatural puzzler has to handle her grandmother's abandoned home near Salem. And whenever she goes there, she discovers an ancient key, parchment written on it, Deliverance, Dane. This discovery puts her on a quest to find out who this woman was and to unlock this rare artifact, a Physick book. So then she becomes haunted of the long ago witch trials, and she fears she is more tied to Salem's past than she could have ever imagined. Oh no, this sounds so good. Like, I'm really excited about that one. So this is about a girl who went missing 8 years ago as her family is picking out a Christmas tree. Her family is desperate, and 3 years ago. The girl was 8. It was 3 years ago. Her family is desperate, and they hire Naomi, who is known as the child finder, mostly because she also was a lost child once. So as she begins looking for this girl in this icy tundra, I'm thinking, face things from her past. Not that I could tell. Not that I can't tell anything about these books. Everyone knows something about everyone else here in the quirky small Ohio town of Yellow Springs. But no one can make sense of the disappearance. Kristen was a sociable twin mom, college administrator, and doctor's wife who didn't seem all that bothered by her impending divorce. And the investigation turns up more questions than answers, with her husband, Paul, at the center. Sorry, I had to. How well does anyone really know anyone else? That is the kind of small town stuff I like. I like the disappearances and weird things and seeing who's connected to who and who done did what to who and who's got grudges. That's the shit I like. Okay, guys. Oh, so there's so many more. Okay, let's get these two out of the way because they are the exact same book. I didn't realize this. Again, Reese Witherspoon, but also Ruth Ware. This is The Lying Game. I thought they were different. I'm sorry, I just threw them in a pile. About a woman who is taking her dog for a walk, and the dog retrieves something from the water that is sinister. And she calls her 3 friends and is like, I need your help. And you find out that they've been 4 close friends since they were in some sort of boarding school, I don't know. And that's when they used to kind of lie for each other and play these games. And so they have to do it again as adults. So why do I need 2 of those? I don't, but there they are. They only have The Silent Patient. Everyone is talking about this. I think this is a book that is best if you go into it not really knowing anything about it. It's about a woman who shoots her husband 5 times in the face and then never speaks another word again. Another Reese Witherspoon pick. This is how it always is. So this is about Claude. He's 5 years old, and he loves wearing dresses and dreams of being a princess. When he grows up, he wants to be a girl. His family is like, yeah, sure, you can be whatever you want, but we don't want to tell the world about that. And I'm assuming things go from there. So the cover looked like something that I've seen people talk about, so that was the main reason. I had no idea that was about. So now I'm very excited. I wonder if it was any type of own voices, but I don't think it is. I have No Exit. This is another one that I've seen really popular here on BookTube. People are saying that it's just like really good. Oh god. Okay, so this is about Darby, and she's on her way home and gets stuck in a blizzard. And she has no choice but to wait it out. She has no cell phone service. She ends up in this little rundown rest stop with 4 other strangers. And she goes out to her car to get something and finds that there is a girl locked in a cage in one of the vehicles beside her. So now she is stuck with someone in this place who is a kidnapper, and she, you know, she's trying to figure out how to escape when she can't and how to save this girl when she can't. So I didn't realize that that is what that was about. Necessary People. So this is about Stella and Violet, and when they were younger, they kind of knew their roles. Stella was this beautiful starlight, and starlet? That's the word. Kind of in front of everyone, gets all the attention. And then Violet was hardworking behind the scenes, making things happen. So Violet ends up getting a job at a network producing things. She's worked her way up, and she's finally free of Stella. Stella is envious and decides that she's going to come and work for the same network, and ends up becoming the face of this network. But Violet's like, you are not going to come in here and diminish my hard work like that. So Violet, I'm assuming, gonna get revenge. She's gonna be like, screw you. So this is Blood Sisters. 3 little girls who they go somewhere. Where do they go? They set off to school one sunny morning, and then one of them is dead. Kitty can't speak, and she has no memory of the accident. She is currently living in an institution, and even though she can't remember, she is frightened by a familiar face. Art teacher Allison, spelled like mine. She is a struggling art teacher, and she takes a job at a prison and then starts getting these alarming notes. And someone is watching both of them who has never forgotten what has happened that day. Tell Me Lies. I love this cover. I love this color. Well, I love this color too, but I love this cover so very much. Probably one of my favorites. I love a good gradient. I love it. So this is about Lucy, who goes away to college and she ends up meeting Steven, and he's charming, attractive, complicated, devastating. She wants him. Really wants Lucy. And he wants to keep her, but there's something buried in his past that he knows if it came out that he would lose everything. So I'm assuming this is about him kind of lying to keep her, and I'm sure those truths will come out. So then we have Dark Aemilia. Another one that okay. The thing that got me on this was a novel of Shakespeare's Dark Lady. That's Shakespeare is what got me on this one. A tale of sorcery, passion in 17th century London where witches haunt William Shakespeare and his Dark Lady, the playwright's muse in one true love. So, all is not forgotten. This is about a girl who at a party is assaulted and she's given a drug that makes her forget. While she heals from the physical part of it, she is very angry that she cannot remember these things. Her father really wants to seek out who has done this and get justice, while her mother is pretending it didn't happen. Then we have Bring Me Back. So this Finn and Layla are young and in love and on vacation. They go to a rest stop. Finn goes in, he comes out, Layla's gone. At least that's what Finn told the police, but it's not the whole story. So now Finn is engaged to Layla's sister 10 years later. But he has a sense that's telling him not to trust Ellen, Layla's sister. And someone is saying that they have seen Layla. Then we have The Widow of Wall Street. It does look like this cover was printed wrong. This is about Phoebe and Jake, who are teenagers. They're creating a financial dynasty. She truly believes in him. But he has a dark talent for deception. So it's years later, has created this big scheme. Now his crime is uncovered and the media is like, bitch, how didn't you know? So it's kind of that, like, how do you not know that the person that you're living with is a monster? And I'm assuming it looks into that, and then she struggles with what to do. Does she stay by her husband's side? Does she leave? What will the kids think? Things like that. So we're so close. Oh, this kind of goes. So Bring Me Back. This is the same author, and this is The Breakdown. This is about a woman who is having a hard time since the night she saw the car in the woods. The woman sitting inside in the woods, and it was a woman who was then killed. She's been trying to put the crime together in her mind. She's thinking of everything that happened that night, if she could have saved this woman. And she has this feeling of guilt. She also can't remember much around the event other than that woman sitting there. And she feels like someone is watching her. Okay, B.A. Parrish, I've got to look into you. You've had 2 synopsises that have sounded really good to me so far. So, ask me while I'm holding this. It was free. I am thinking of giving it to someone. I don't plan on keeping it because we know this is one of my least favorite books of all time. That's The Outsider by Stephen King. I just saw this. I knew that it probably was going to be thrown away, honestly. So I was like, this is such a new book and it's in good condition. And I think I know people who would want to actually read this and enjoy it. Personally didn't like it, but it's mostly because it has that weird sci-fi element that I just could have gone without. Great book. Until we reach that point. Basically about murder that happens. This boy is brutally murdered. Evidence that he was sexually abused as well, and very horrific circumstances. And basically everyone is like, we saw the baseball coach with him last, and everyone keeps saying it was a baseball coach, but he's like, I got no freaking clue what you people are talking about. Like, I did not see that boy. So you find out something weird is going on. People are trying to pin this on him, and he's like, I don't understand, like, what's happening. So 8 million books that I had. I'm sorry if my energy was not the fullest in this video. That was a lot of talking. Even if I would have looked these up ahead of time, I would not have remembered the synopsises of all these. So I know people are constantly like, why don't you look it up before you film the video? You put too much faith in my memory, okay? You put a lot more faith in it than I do. Let me know if you read any of these, how you have felt about the ones that you have read. Love to know. There's some in here that just seem like some real gems. I'm real excited about them. Hope you guys have liked this video. Don't forget to subscribe to see future videos from me. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next one. Bye. How am I gonna take a fucking thumbnail?